Northern China, a village square baked beneath a white, merciless sun. Dust clings to your tongue. You are too young to understand negotiation, yet old enough to recognize the sound of your mother's voice breaking. A stranger grips your chin and tilts your face toward the light. His thumb presses along your jaw, testing bone and skin as if you are livestock. He pulls your lips apart and counts your teeth. Your hands are seized, fingers bent backward, palms inspected for softness, for length, for promise. He studies you the way merchants study silk before purchase. He names a number. Your father does not argue. He does not look at you. Coins strike his palm with a sound that feels louder than thunder. Your mother falls to her knees behind you. Someone restrains her. The stranger pulls you forward. You look back once. Your name is still in her mouth. It is the last time you will hear it. Inside the imperial courts of China, a system endured for more than 2,000 years. It was recorded in official histories with the same tone used for harvest yields and tax reforms. Routine, administrative, orderly. Young men were purchased, renamed, trained, and kept as personal companions for emperors, nobles, and powerful officials. They were called male favorites. The records speak calmly of them. The silence around their private lives is louder. The system began with hunger. Floods swallowed crops along the Yellow River. Droughts cracked entire provinces. When granaries emptied and livestock died, families faced choices no law could soften. Scouts traveled through impoverished regions searching for boys with clear skin, refined features, bright voices, quick intelligence. They examined hands for musical potential, posture for elegance, bone structure for future beauty. Contracts were written in classical characters most farmers could not read. A nod, a thumbprint, a seal pressed into wax. 10 to 15 years of service, often longer, often forever. The first act inside the training houses was erasure. Your name was taken, replaced with something ornamental, something marketable. Precious jade, autumn moon, morning frost. Not affection, branding. Your head was shaved. Silk robes replaced homespun cloth. You were no longer a son. You were inventory. The training was meticulous. Poetry memorized by the 1,000 lines. Calligraphy perfected until each brushstroke curved like flowing water. Music practiced until fingers bled silently. Dance, etiquette, philosophy, medicine, politics. You were shaped into someone capable of conversing with a governor or an emperor. But beneath the refinement lay something colder. Homesickness was punished, independence corrected, memories of home treated as contamination. The objective was not mere obedience. It was internal surrender, a transformation so complete that you would believe your purpose had always been this. Records from later dynasties suggest staggering mortality during training. Illness, exhaustion, quiet despair. Those who did not survive were buried without markers. Their families were not informed. The system continued, efficient, profitable. For those who endured, the reward was proximity to power in a cage lined with silk. Quarters adorned with jade and lacquer. Doors locked from the outside. Daily life became performance. Cosmetics applied before dawn. Garments chosen with strategic care. Every expression measured. Favor meant delicacies, influence, safety. Disfavor meant scraps, neglect, eventual expulsion into a world that no longer recognized you. By 20, your value was fading. By 25, you were already obsolete. Competition was cultivated deliberately. Masters encouraged rivalry, whispering comparisons, rewarding jealousy. Trust dissolved. Survival required calculation. Some turned to numbing remedies readily available in elite households, drifting into quiet dependency. The appearance of serenity was mandatory. Inside the imperial palace, the scale expanded. Histories from the Han Dynasty note that each early emperor maintained male favorites. The practice was neither scandal nor secret. It was embedded. One story altered language itself. Xian entered the court as a teenager. The emperor favored him beyond measure. Estates, titles, authority flowed toward him. Officials who warned against excess were dismissed or worse. The bond between ruler and favorite became legend when the emperor, unwilling to disturb Xian's sleep, cut off his own sleeve rather than wake him. The phrase, "the passion of the cut sleeve," endured in Chinese culture for centuries as a symbol of intimate devotion. But emperors die. When the emperor collapsed, the machinery of court politics moved with brutal precision. Titles revoked, wealth confiscated, allies silenced. Xian was dead before the day ended. His rise had depended entirely on one heartbeat. When that heartbeat stopped, so did his protection. This pattern repeated across dynasties. Deng Tong, once granted a copper mine and the privilege of minting currency, died impoverished after his patron's death. Others were executed, exiled, erased. Power borrowed from a throne was never owned, even in later centuries. Emperors retreated into private compounds filled with companions and favorites, conducting state affairs between spectacles. When they fell, their inner circles dissolved overnight. Wealth seized, associates punished. The cycle endured until the imperial structure itself collapsed in the 20th century. Revolution did not restore what had been taken. Many former favorites disappeared into anonymity. Some faced interrogation. Others vanished into labor camps or poverty. Their training had prepared them for courtly survival, not independence. History preserved the names of emperors and a few celebrated favorites. The countless others remain unnamed, boys purchased in desperation. Adolescence molded into elegance. Adults discarded when youth faded. What lingers is not only the cruelty, but the design. This was not chaos. It was a system sustained by famine, hierarchy, silence, and the belief that power justified possession. Imagine standing again in that village square. The dust, the coins, the silence of your father, the sound of your mother's voice fading as you are led away. Empires speak of glory, archives speak of order. Stone inscriptions celebrate conquest and governance. They rarely record the cost carried in private chambers. 2,000 years of repetition, rise, favor, fall, erasure. And yet something resists. The poems memorized under compulsion still echo. The calligraphy perfected in confinement survives in museums. The phrase born from a cut sleeve still lives in language. Traces remain, even when names do not. Power believed it could consume identity without consequence. It believed youth could be purchased, devotion engineered, memory extinguished. But history has a longer breath than any emperor. The palaces are quieter now. The gates stand as relics. The silk has faded. The iron has rusted. What remains are questions. How many lives were redirected by hunger and sealed by ink they could not read? How many names were replaced with ornaments and never reclaimed? How many voices were softened into obedience until even they forgot their original sound? The system was precise. It was patient. It was normalized. And normalization is the most enduring disguise cruelty ever wears. Somewhere in northern China, wind still moves across village squares. Dust still rises beneath bare feet. Parents still stand where impossible choices once stood before them. History cannot return what was taken. It can only refuse to let silence finish the work. Empires carved their triumphs into stone. The stories of the consumed were carried in breath, in rumor, in fragments of text that survived fires and revolutions. The throne no longer commands, but the memory remains.